Hi, there's no way that I can show you what I've made without it being kind of a jump scare, so I'm just gonna show it to you, okay? It's a spider baby. That's the back. As an apology, I also made something that I think is cute, so I did this. Happy Halloween! Hi everybody, it's Witty, welcome back. If you couldn't tell, I love Halloween. I just love it. I love the aesthetics, I love dressing up, I love being a little scared, I love finding the perfect sacrifice, I love playing scary games on stream and screaming in your ears. It's just great, but you know that already. Everybody loves Halloween. I like making monsters all year round, but especially in the month of October. It's like I can just really be myself, I can be inspired by my environment, and I can put my creations in my window without my neighbors calling it vaguely threatening and that it gives off an aura of dread. So I decided to ingest a nearly lethal amount of espresso and go and peruse the Halloween aisles at all my local shops. It's not a Monster Mash kind of video until I get a comparison to Sid from Toy Story, which, thank you guys by the way, that always makes my day. And one of Sid's most iconic creations, I would have to say, is his spider doll baby thing, which when I looked that up, by the way, its name is Babyface, which is somehow worse. And while I was looking around, I saw something similar in Michael's, but I'm not gonna lie, it looked stupid, it looked cheap, and it looked way easy to make. So I grabbed a fake spider there. I'm not sure why I felt the need to tell you it was fake. It was not a real spider. And I also grabbed a little white pumpkin that I didn't know what I wanted to do with, but it just looked so sad and naked and boring. Also, both of those things I got at 50% off because for some reason, Michael's had already started putting away Halloween stuff and taking out all the Christmas stuff, which doesn't make any sense to me. Michael, what are we doing? Does Joanne know about this? Why? Let October happen. Sorry. Ooh, sorry about that. Anyways, then I went to the thrift store where I always seem to have good luck. I found a great little baby doll as well as some ceramic figures that I thought I was going to use for this project, but I ended up tucking away for a rainy day. And as I was walking through Goodwill, this woman looked at me and she looked at the baby doll and then she smiled, and I realized that she was probably thinking that I was buying that for like a child or something, which I guess I kind of was, you know, my own warped, weird inner child. I decided to kick off my spider baby project on stream, which is one of my favorite ways to start a project. I really love having the Goblin gang keeping me company while I bounce ideas off of them and I start to kind of see the bones of something come together. Because half the time when I start something, I'm going off a vague idea and everything just sort of comes together. We're gonna make a spider baby. See, I think he needs more eyes. So I popped off the doll's head and apologized on Twitch to anyone who happened to be tuning in for the first time. I mapped out eye placement, and I decided to add the face of the Barbie doll that we used in the Baba Yaga video. What, you don't have a drawer full of spare doll parts? I wanted the smaller face to be a nod to Tomie from Junji Ito, just a smiling, content face next to something totally monstrous. Yeah, it's coming together, baby. We spent a lot of time chatting while I glued on eyes. Y'all know my stance when it comes to adding more eyeballs to creations. Yeah. I also gave Spider Baby cute little mandibles, and I used a lot of Milliput around the eyes to make everything cohesive, and lumpy, and gross. While I worked, I chatted about an upcoming Dead Space stream, having zero idea that I was about to walk into a literal laboratory filled with spider babies. It's like I summoned them. Oh my god! No, stop it! Stop it! Stop it! After the Milliput had all dried, I decided that he was in fact not gross enough. So I ordered some fake teeth online, at least I'm really hoping that they're fake, and I hollowed out his noggin. I'm censoring the initial stab because 1, it feels like I'm going to be flagged for something, and 2, it was kind of hard to get the cut started, and I don't want to stress y'all out by having you see me just wiggle around a knife precariously. From there, I pushed in some air dry clay and nestled the teeth inside. I used the rest on the back of the head to give it a slightly more bulbous look. And then I let that dry while I sat and wondered, why am I like this? And now for my favorite part, priming it. Watching it all come together as my neighbor undoubtedly peeks nervously outside her window. I made a wash using a mixture of brown and red paints, and it looks upsetting, you know, just like I'd hoped, but it was kind of tricky to get it all around the teeth and needed a few passes, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I dry brushed the face with a cool gray blue before I painted the eyes white. So many eyes. Is that a lump or an eye? I don't know. Then I gave it teeny black pupils, which felt creepier. Yeah. That'll do it. Then I went with a yellow to really get those peepers popping. This color is Cygnus Yellow from P3 Paints, and it's absolutely one of my favorites. The body was this weird kind of flocked material, which looking back I would have picked differently, but that's fine. It was actually kind of satisfying to dry brush onto, and I thought about maybe getting an RC spider because it would be really terrifying to put some motion behind this thing, but I think that the head is too heavy, so maybe next year. So I think that this is a spider baby who hatched from a big clutch. I think he's got like 100, 200 brothers and sisters, but he is unique. So his little second face is what makes him stand out. It's evidence that they're evolving. Into what? I guess we'll wait and see. Their mandibles, I think, are used for biting prey and injecting them with a paralytic poison, but that front mouth is kind of a false mouth. So what it does is it takes its little arms and it passes its prey behind it so it can feed it into the big open maw on the back, where it doesn't close all the way, but it does digest and sort of chew. I'm so sorry for that mental image. Oh, look at the time. I have to go real quick, but I will be right back. I don't know why I do it, doctor. I start a project and I have good intentions, but I don't know, after the second eye goes on, something takes over me and I just need more. It just feels like it's never gonna be enough. You know what I mean? I try to make cute things. The closest I get is people saying it's cute in like a weird way. Hey, what are you writing down? Okay, now for no reason in particular, I have decided that the spider is cool, but I needed to make something cute. I decided to give the Goblin pumpkin, Bobkin? No, Gumpkin. Absolutely not. A Poblin? Pumplin. Oh, Pumplin, Pumplin's bad. That's bad. That's awful. So I got a really fun vintage jack-o'-lantern kit at Goodwill, and I used the plastic nose to start off my schnoz, only ate a tiny little bit of milliput, and then I of course did some cabochon eyes. Only 2 of them. I had some leftover air dry clay I decided to finish up, and I used some bamboo skewers and my trusty aluminium if you're fancy, foil to give me structure to work with. I notched one of his ears and left the other looking like it got cut off at the tip. That was totally on purpose. I definitely did not drop that pumpkin. I used some spare rings I had for chainmail to give him some piercings too. At this point he kinda looked like a big-nosed cat, but I trusted the process. I slapped him down with an initial coat of green paint and painted the whites of the eyes. I did a smoother layer of green before I sponged on a lighter color to make him look a little more interesting. I decided that his name was Glibs, and he used to be an extremely rude and mischievous goblin, even by goblin standards, until one day he stole from a witch on Halloween and she cursed him to a life of being a jack-o'-lantern. At first he was devastated, as he would be, but eventually he found himself in the zen-like state, just being content to observe and learn and watch the beauty of all the little moments of life passing him by. I had a lot of big, crazy Halloween content ideas this year. Instead, I found myself really burnt out, honestly, and overwhelmed. So instead of all those crazy content ideas and pushing myself to make things that I wasn't in the right headspace for. Instead, I did something really weird and kind of out there and a little wild, and I put my camera down and I put my phone down, I turned my computer off, and I just went and did things without making content about it. So I went to my first Ren Fair ever. I didn't make any content about it. I carved pumpkins with my family. I actually sat down and watched multiple movies. I never sit still long enough to do that, and I'm really glad that I did. And it feels really good to be back. Okay, enough life stuff. Roll the glamour shots of the little weirdos. Always, thank you guys so much for hanging out and spending time with me today. These projects really brought a lot of Halloween spooky joy into my life, and I was so excited to share them with you. If this is your first time here, I really hope you'll consider liking the video, maybe subscribing so you can see what I do in the next one. It feels silly to say, but that stuff really does make a big impact. Like I said, it really feels good to be back, and I'm looking forward to getting back on track and back to uploading a video for you guys every other week. And as always, huge thank you to my Patreon supporters, the Goblin Gang, for making all of this possible. I hope that you have such a fun Halloween. I would love to read in the comments below about what you're doing, what costume you're gonna be wearing. I'm making my costume this year, but it's a secret, so I can't tell you quite yet, but I will be showing you guys. All right, take care, everybody. I'll see you in the next one, and until then. And don't forget that you are currently making the world a better place just by being you. It's like your superpower. So keep doing that. Bye, guys.